Hi. I talk a lot about the center and the importance of our center and moving from the center and freeing up the quad, freeing up the hips. The hips are the culprit in the knees. If we have tight knees, our ankles, it's always based in the hips. The knees and the ankles are trying to compensate for the lack of freedom in the hips. And this is caused by tight psoas, tight piriformis muscles, all these like the muscles, but really the fascia in both the surface and the deep fascia that work around these muscles and how it all gets tangled up if we don't use it. And this is where the freedom in our hips comes from. So when we have tight hips, and we have tight hips from sitting and get shortened psoas and anterior pelvic tilt, or in my case it was a serious posterior pelvic tilt. I was sitting on my low back when I was a teenager. I was really slouched and my hips were twisted. And so this twist in my hips has cut off the energy, not just in my hips, and I never really had much. Yes, I had knee problems. I lied. I had some knee problems. I never had ankle problems, except that my ankles used to be really tight. But it made my shoulders uneven. It's made the way that I sat, my hips, our proprioception comes from our hips, but it caused this scoliosis in my spine that caused me to compress the left side of my spine and overbuild the right side, my right shoulder, right? So I was really tight here like this, and my right shoulder is still up. This has gotten a lot more open. Both sides have gotten more open. I have more mobility. I have more flexibility, but the scoliosis is still there, and I don't think it's going to go away while I'm in this body. So much for that. The sequence of exercises that we're going to look at today helped me a lot in terms of understanding how to open my hips. So it's an exploration. It's a movement exploration of the hips primarily, and I hadn't thought about using it in a therapeutic setting. I mean, I was in my transition from practicing a lot of yoga and some qigong, and this took place in that transition to when I was just trying to be soft in my body and try to understand the movement and mobility rather than trying to stretch my body open. Now, these things are totally possible in yoga, but my mindset was not that mindset. And I know now if I do yoga, it's different. I'm totally relaxed, and I just go with it. And where I can do it, I do it, and where I don't do it, I don't do it. And it feels so much better. Even after years and years and years of struggle, I don't struggle anymore. I've given up the struggle. Around the time I was learning to stop struggling with my body, I found this little sequence, and it worked wonders for me. I did it every day for a while, which is really how things work best, when you do the same thing every day and you get into these edges, these corner edges in your joints, and you work them for a period of time every day, and you try to just see what's there and where you can loosen them up and how you can let the energy flow, because the energy has to flow through the meridians. I used this week therapeutically for a student with bad knees, and I talk about him sometimes. I don't think he minds. He has had 2 knee replacements, and I was trying to get him to stretch his knees by doing a squat. Now, if you've seen my videos, you know I do this a lot. I do this every day, right? And I try to get comfortable and not like be forward and keep my chest up, and then just come back and then lengthen here, as long as we're doing it. So his knees he was up here. He could get his heels up a little bit, but he was about here. And I thought, we got to figure out a way to open this up. So I came up with remembering this sequence. Okay, so we're going to practice. Actually, I want to show you the difference, right? So we're going to start with this. So just start with your knees and ankles. So loosening up your knees and ankles. Make sure that you're not craning your neck up. So keep the back of the neck long when you do this. And feel what's moving in your hips and see how low you can go comfortably. Let your elbows come out. This will warm us up for this anyway. And go the other way. I'm not counting, I'm just doing. Okay, so lengthen now. Just stretch. Pull your tailbone down towards your heels. This feels really good. And lengthen the back of your neck. So don't let your head hang. Don't pick your chin up. Lengthen the back of your neck. And now, from your core, you have to engage your core, engage your perineum, and then you squat down with control, and you can relax here, I hope. And if not, if you keep doing it, you will. And come back up. We'll do this a couple of times, and I just want you to feel where the tension is here. So, coming down. It's okay to fall. You just catch yourself. And you learn something. And if you can't do this and this really hurts, then don't do it. Don't try to come down too far. Just see where your knees are. And lengthen again before we come up, and then roll up from the bottom. So really roll up. Okay, and now put your hands on your way behind you. Now we're going to do some waist rotation. So the feet about hip distance here. Not very far apart. Notice where the tension is. Okay, reverse. Okay, get wider. So now let your arms go. And just feel your balance. So now we're going to, keeping our head in the center, we're going to do some wide-legged hip rotations. And we're going to let the arms be free. Now we're going to do this for a while in each direction. This is the exploration part. So we're going to see where the tension is in the hips. And we're going to spend some time here. So see, my arms are just free. I can use them for balance. I can just try to not have tension anywhere. Notice that, my knees aren't perfectly straight, but they're not bent a lot, as much as I can not bend them, but I'm trying to keep my shoulders more or less horizontal, so I don't really get into a big like that here. It's not about that. It's about trying to keep your head in the center of the circle. And go slow. And maybe this isn't fun, but give it a shot. This gets into your low back. It gets into all of the corners of your groin, your psoas, in a very gentle way. So I'm not counting, but we're going to go a few minutes in each direction. And see if the circle keeps getting bigger and rounder. And notice where you cut it off, where the tension is, and you cut off the circle. Because, I mean, basically we're all making ellipses, but just how much more can you turn your ellipse into a circle? Another minute or so. I used to set a timer and do 5 minutes, but I won't torture you that much. 5 minutes in each direction. And I did this for a month or two. And I haven't done it in a long time until this week. And I saw how effective it was. And it also teaches me a lot about how much freer my hips are now than they were when I was doing this every day. But still, I can find tension here. I mean, still I find that I can feel where there's tension. And I'm just trying to glide through it and enjoy it. So smile when you do this. It's possibly, I'm not going to say probably, it's possibly getting to you by now. Okay, going the other way. I think that was about 3 minutes. It might have been a little more. Two directions will feel completely different. Or not. But usually we have a lot more tension in one direction than we do in the other. So just allow yourself to let go a little bit here. Let go. Let go. Couple more minutes. Make it feel good. Notice where the tension is and try to go slowly through those areas. So, like right there, I can really feel this, but if I go slow, a little crunching. Definitely, I feel this in my neck too. I mean, this tension runs from my hip up through my shoulders and into my neck still, probably from the bottom of my foot and in my calf. So, fascia. The line of fascia runs all the way up the back of the body, from the soles of the feet up to the forehead. And when we've been sedentary, the fascia gets really tight and knits itself together into a steel suit, because fascia has the same tensile strength as steel. Imagine that. Which is why sometimes it feels like there's steel bands when you try to stretch. So very often people's problem, especially in yoga, is this feeling that they're going to really stretch and kill it, and then they feel even tighter because it's reinforcing the stiffness in the areas that are already stiff when you go really hard. So it's only by going through it gently and moving it We're stretching gently and relaxing it, that it will begin to soften and relax. So, very often we're trying to make shapes that our tissues will not yield to. Okay, so that's pretty good. Feel the difference. Feel the difference. So put your hands on your thighs and come forward. So pushing side to side. So make sure that you're not dropping your head or craning your head up. You want to lengthen the back of your neck and push. So you're pushing your knees have to always stay in line with your toes. So I'm approaching this very gently at this point, and I'm going to get a little wider. And I can start to come forward through this. So just gently pushing my thighs open and turning to the side. And then dropping more through the center and lifting into the side. And gradually dropping more through the center, lifting through the side. Don't let your knee fall in. Keep it here. It doesn't matter really how high you are. You can use your legs. It's not about that. Let's slow it down. And then if you feel good, you can start to reach with your hand. Reach. But make sure that knee is going back. And then come through the center and reach with the other hand. So the palm is up and back and soft. Make sure that knee isn't turning in, so that the hip is turning out. And come down and up and down and up and down, up. You can come up higher. And we're just trying to move the hips. Trying to move the hips open by stabilizing the knees and turning the waist. We can make this more graceful by making an S. Just keep swinging it. Okay, coming back. Come back in here. So now, let yourself just relax. Hold on to your thighs if you need to. And relax. You can free your arms if you want. Bring them to the floor. Don't look up. Don't look up. I'll talk to you about this. Don't look up. Let your neck be long. Back of your neck long. Chin slightly tucked. So wherever you are, if you need support, you can support yourself. Put your hands on your ankles, hands on your thighs, not a problem. Knees can be a little bent. I like to wiggle a little bit here, pulling the hips forward and back. Coming to the side. So here, we're going to push the knee out that way. Put your hand on top of your thigh and turn into this leg. So really trying to bring your chin over your ankle And turn your waist. And then lengthen through your low back. And don't let your knees fall in. So this shouldn't get into your knees at all. You don't want this in your knees at all. Maybe you're here. You know? Maybe you're here. And you can relax. Maybe you're lower. The key is to push this hip out and push that knee in line with the toes. Okay, so now we're going to come more to the front. So now the chin is over the big toe. Try not to, if you want to come up, come up. Don't just crane your neck. It's a bad habit. So you're coming forward now along the front of your leg. So it's a different line of fascia. This knee is still got to push out. And you might be up here like this. But we're trying to push this hip back and twist the low back open, twist the hips open. And take a few breaths here. You can come flat, you can come down. Whatever feels good or feels appropriate to you. Don't look up at the screen right now if you're doing this. I'm going to watch you come all the way up. Push yourself up and look and see what I'm doing, and then go back down and do it. And now we're going to come to the inside. So I like to grab the back of my heel or the inside of the leg. And now I want to twist so the shoulder on that side is pushing forward, the shoulder on the other side is coming back. It's not really doing much of anything, but that shoulder's coming away and the hip is pushing back. So you're stretching the low back on that side, and then you can drop into the inside fascia. And don't pull hard, just be here. And maybe you're up here. Maybe this is like super hard. Wherever you are, just try to relax it. But try to keep some sense of alignment. Come to the center. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So come up here to start, even if you're flexible. And twist your hips. So this is really good for this internal rotation on this hip, which would be your left hip. And then you can come down. So notice any tension in your knee and push the knee out so that the stretch is coming from the hip and not the knee. Don't let the knee have any pain. Make the back of the neck long. Take a few breaths. Okay, come to the front of the leg. So chin over the big toe. And extend. I might come to the side on this side. I can't really get my chin over my ankle. My hips don't do that yet. In the front, I want to get my chin over the big toe, lengthening the back of the neck. So this lengthens the spine. Pull your tailbone towards your heel. You'll notice it's probably the right heel that you need to pull your tailbone towards. Make sure that the right knee isn't falling in to compensate. And if you want to come down and relax. Relax your head, relax your neck. Or you can even push into your foot to stretch your hip. That might feel good. And relax it and push again. So, another breath or two. And now coming inside, so coming inside, the chin's pointing towards the inside of your ankle. And you might be up here. But you want to pull this shoulder forward. Pull the left shoulder forward. You can push into your thigh and pull the left shoulder forward to stretch your low back. Take a few breaths here. You can come down if you want, if that's easy. You can come down. Take a few breaths here. Coming back to the center. Bend your knees. Put your hands on your thighs and roll up. So come back to feet, hip distance. And I want you to roll your hips. Notice the difference. Just a few times probably. I just want you to feel if you've come farther. If this is easier, after all that stretching. Hopefully that feels good. And then now, engage yourself, right? And get long and come down into a squat with control. And notice the difference there and see if there's any difference. I mean, hopefully you'll feel a difference. Coming back up, lengthen. Okay, so that's it for today. That's your homework if you have tight hips. We all have tight hips. And I've been back now obviously into this groove again of doing this a few times a week so that, because you come back to these exercises, I keep cycling through them, partly because I'm making these videos. I have to keep coming up with unique content because, otherwise, will you keep watching? Who knows? Are you watching now? Not many people are, but I'm grateful for the ones that are. And I hope that this is good for you, and I hope that this wasn't too tough. And don't crane your neck. When you're doing a forward bend, don't look up. Okay, if you're doing this, watching a yoga video, whatever you're doing, let the back of your neck be long, tuck your chin, listen to the words, look at it, and then rewind it and go back and do it again with leaving your neck long. So I don't think I can give you better general advice than that, is don't crane your neck. It's not good for your neck, not good for your upper back, not good for your shoulders. It adds to the congestion and tension that's already there. I will see you soon, I hope. I keep saying I'm trying to get better at making these, and life gets in the way. So I don't know how in this time of pandemic I am as busy as I am, but I'm gratefully extremely busy on a daily basis. But I like to make these videos, and I like to actually dig back into my repertoire to find these things that I haven't done for a while, so that I can do them for a while and present them to you, because they helped me at some stage along the way, or I wouldn't be presenting them anyway. Have a great day, and wherever you are, and don't let the craziness of the world get to you. And I hope this was good. Let me know. Thanks.